Hi everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Red Zone, brought to you by the Real Estate Center at Texas A&M University. I'm Haley Reeder, Communications Specialist. Today is Wednesday, September 11th, 2019. Today marks 18 years since the September 11th attacks. Nearly 3,000 people were killed and over 6,000 were injured in the tragedy. To all who lost their lives that day and those who later died as a result of that day, you are in our hearts and will never be forgotten. Please take a moment today to remember the fallen and recall acts of selflessness and heroism in honor of the National Day of Service and Remembrance. Summertime is coming to a close. The weather's getting cooler, well, not that much cooler, and beachgoers are packing up their sunscreen and beach towels. Although the summer activities are winding down for the season, the Texas coast still welcomes year-round visitors with new tourism developments. Texas coastal cities are becoming increasingly popular with visitors from around the state and the country. For example, according to the city's tourism department, visitors to Port Aransas on Mustang Island so far this year have exceeded last year's numbers by 40%. Those arrivals are expected to rise thanks to special upcoming events, festivals, more lodging units, and the island's restaurant and activity offerings. Jeff Lamkin, CEO of Oats Group, developer of Port A's Cinnamon Shore, joins us today to talk about what the Texas coast has to offer. Thanks for joining me today.
Awesome.
So let's just get started.
That works.
Well, first, just tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so I'm Jeff Lamkin, and I am the developer of, the CEO of Oats Group, which is the developer of Cinnamon Shore.
Mm-hmm.
And, I kind of got a marketing operations background. So I kind of, I got a team that really runs everything and does it. So I'm the owner, builder, developer guy that works with the land planners, architects, developers, civil engineers, builders. And, we're pretty much in the land development business. We kind of create the land plan, create the vision. We've got the real estate business to make sure it all sells. And we run the property management business for the vacation rental side. And I own most of the retail where we, can operate the restaurants. And then we sell off all the houses and condos to builders who build them and sell them to end users. Is our kind of our business model.
Right. What makes Port Aransas appealing to developers?
So Port Aransas is, first off, and I'll just wear you out with some data. Okay. So 80% of second homeowners want to be on the water.
Mm-hmm.
80% of that 80% want to be on the beach.
Yes.
So if you take those two basic fundamentals, and then you look for the strongest economy you can find, Texas is probably the strongest economy in the world right now. It's growing exponentially fast. It's gone from like the 13th largest economy in the world to like the 9th over like the last 5 years.
Wow.
It's tremendous, the number of jobs that are going there. And like 70% of the growth is over $150,000 a year income jobs. So it's really high income jobs that are relocating, the Googles that are relocating, Uber just announced it's coming to Dallas. So it's a big state. It's got a lot of people. A lot of them are coming from California, so they're beach kind of people as well. So it's a really fast growing economy, really healthy economy. The state maintains a balanced budget. So it's different than everywhere else. Has no state income tax. And we are the best. There's 3 primary pockets of beach you can develop in, and I'm one of the largest owners in all of them. You got it by Galveston, you got down by South Padre, and you got Mustang Island. Well, Mustang Island's got it's got a really cool vibe to it. Mm-hmm. So it's got local, real restaurant guys. There's very few chains there. You got like a CVS and a couple fast food places, but for the most part, it's real. It's an authentic place with, real people and restaurants where the chef is the guy that kind of makes your food. So it's a cool destination. It hasn't evolved, so you can still I'm selling Gulf front lots in a I got a $2 billion master plan community I'm building down there. Mm-hmm. That we're still selling Gulf front lots for about $1 million a piece.
Wow.
Which is probably 20 cents on the dollar compared to what they would be in a similar property in Florida or California. So it's still a really good opportunity with lots of upside on it. And if you think about them, just to focus on Gulf fronts for a second, right? So I've got another 6/10 of a mile to develop on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you think about that, I can only get, say I cut the lots in 50 feet, I could probably only get another 60 lots on the beach. So even for me, I've only got 60 lots to sell in like a 20-year period.
Wow.
So that's really means I can afford to sell 3 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, so beachfront is the most finite resource we have in the country, and of real estate anyway, that's highly desirable. And Texas is one of the places that hadn't evolved, so you still get a great price. It's a really cool place. The beach there is as pretty as any beach you'll find on the East Coast or West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really cool people. So it's a good investment opportunity for each of the end users, which means it's got a long cycle in it. And really, we're just kind of, so it's, you kind of know what's going to happen. We know who our buyers are. We know where they're coming from. It's, it's a relatively affluent place because we're probably $300,000 for a really small condo, like a studio,
Mm-hmm.
up to, probably $3.5 million for a Gulf front home today.
Wow.
And it's going to just, we're going to keep going up from there. So it's just a really nice place it's a good lifestyle community where people can come and build legacy properties to own in their family for multiple generations is really our goal.
Yeah, and you touched on it before. You said a lot of these people are coming from California. So are they mostly working people looking for their second home or retirees? What kind of people are you really seeing coming to Port A or Mustang Island?
Yeah, so almost all of our properties, probably like 95% of it is second homes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somebody who's relocated to Austin. It's probably one of our main driver markets, right? So our main drivers would be Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, like the big Texas markets.
Yeah.
Probably account for 90% of our stuff. And so our buyers really look like someone that ranges between 35 to 65. They either have young families or grandkids. They're very family focused people. So because we're really a community more than a neighborhood.
Right.
And it's a very safe place. We're really focused on just safe family fun and good security, and they just people who have disposable income to we really have 3 different buyers. We've got the ones who buy the condos, and most of them will rent them out because they need the help with the cash flow to make the mortgage payments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you kind of have the, let's call it $800,000 to $1.5 million homes. Probably half of that group will rent it and half don't. And those that do will plan it around their vacation schedule, where the condo guys might plan their vacation schedule around when they can get income, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your Gulf front buyers and your first tier buyers that are really kind of the, $1.8 million to $3.5 million buyers, and very few of them rent them. They pretty much, it's their second or third home. And they're choosing it because it's the nicest beach town in Texas.
Yeah, it really is. But how have storms like Hurricane Harvey affected development along the coast, as well as the general economy? Or how do you prepare your developments for future storms?
So we took this is a legacy project for me that I
Mm-hmm.
want to really build for my kids, my family to own for a long, it's another 20, 30 years in the cycle. So for example, we took the entire property, the land of the entire property, for like the first phase was 60 some acres, but all in I got 450 acres, and we're raising the entire thing up 3 or 4 feet with importing sand. So we're at the highest place on the island. And then from there, we do a faux pier and beam construction, which is really just a 2-foot elevated slab. So essentially that makes us, 5 to 6 feet higher than anything that was in the old part of the town. And then you start building up from there. And the new construction methods are really pretty awesome. So Harvey hit us head on with a Class 4 hurricane, and there was, we fared so well that Bloomberg invited me up to come speak on Bloomberg television about how to prepare for hurricane and construction methods. But just the modern methods, like we use aluminum roofs, so there's no rust. There's structural tie downs and go bolts that are, the 50-foot long bolts that are, poured into the foundation, and then they bolt the roof's like literally bolted on and all the way down through into the foundation. And then you've got, hurricane-proof windows that can withstand 180 miles an hour. And then we got the hardy plank primarily on the side that we mix up, which is a concrete, foundation. And that, it's like in the last hurricane, we really within 2 weeks had the property cleaned up pretty much. And
Wow.
other than some of the multifamily units where we had some of the first ones built, because really in the last 15 years, the building methods have just changed. So if you study the hurricane market, what happens is it's an 18-month cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Because it hits, the old stuff gets beat up. Some people lose their stuff. Then after 3 to 9 months, they start getting their insurance checks, or they sell it, or they figure out how to rebuild it, or they lose it, right?
Yeah.
And then within 18 months, it's like a V-shaped recovery, and then it pops back up. So even in Port Aransas, where we got hammered, and some of the old town stuff got hit pretty hard, it's already back up. Their rental revenues are higher than they ever were. So we only have 60% of the properties back online that were online before the storm. But hotel tax is up 20% over where it was before Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Property values are higher than they were before Harvey at every type of product.
So what do you expect Port A to be like in the next 10 or 20 years?
So I think Port A is going to continue to build out. There are going to be 2 or 3 of these master planned communities that are kind of built up. They're reasonably low density, higher value places. They'll really increase the property tax values of the little town. I think Port A is going to hold on to its authenticity. One of my pet peeves is, I'd call it the homogenization of society, where every 2 miles it looks the exact same. You got a Great Clips and a Whataburger like every 2 miles. And,
yeah.
and Port A is not that. It's a very authentic place where there's individual businesses and very few chains. And I think it'll hold on to that identity. So it'll be one of the rare, authentic places. It's a real family destination. So it's not as touristy as like a South Padre, or it's not as spring breaky or cheesy touristy, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be a beautiful community. It's going to be more of what it is, but you're going to run into a pretty finite, the supply is there's more demand than there will be supply. So I can tell you, almost no matter what you buy in Port Aransas, I believe it's going to go up in value. I don't think there's I think you'd be very hard pressed to find a property that was a bad investment in Port Aransas, in the whole town.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting down talking to me.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks again, Jeff. We posted a link to the Cinnamon Shore website on our podcast webpage. We also linked to center research articles about storm protection and NewsTalk Texas articles about the Texas coast. The Real Estate Center's NewsTalk Texas is our database of news stories on real estate deals both big and small from all over the Lone Star State. Updated each business day, the database includes stories covering real estate, apartments, housing, statistics, retail, office, industrial, medical, military, storage units, and more. We posted a link to it on our podcast webpage. And the Real Estate Center's research library includes a wide variety of economic reports and real estate articles exclusively from the Real Estate Center. Topics include Texas housing type trends, liability waivers, manufactured housing, the Texarkana economy, Texas land markets, and so much more. We included a link to the research library on our podcast webpage and in the YouTube description box. That's going to be it for today's podcast. If you want more from the Real Estate Center, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You can also check out our website, www.recenter.tamu.edu, for the latest data, research articles, blogs, news, and more. For more podcasts like these, you can subscribe on iTunes or to our YouTube channel. All podcasts are available for free on our website. Thanks for joining us today in the Real Estate Red Zone, brought to you by the Real Estate Center in College Station, Texas, where we've been helping coastal Texans stay aware of development trends since 1971. This is Haley Reeder. I'll see you next time. Bye.